From the age of 30 to 40, how to restart your life. In fact, at the age of 35, most people go through a phase of confusion. The reason is quite simple. By this age, most of what needs to be experienced has already happened. The current results are the product of past perceptions. If the results are not good, you will certainly feel lost and confused. We are often in conflict with our past perceptions, even through unexpected events that disrupt our beliefs. But all of this is very normal. The past is the past, the present is the present, and the future is the future. Keep a positive mindset and strong faith. Human actions are driven by ideas. The difference lies in whether the power of ideas is strong enough or not. I know your life is very busy. Nevertheless, what I say is not easy to grasp, especially not easy to fully understand. If you just listen once, my advice is to watch until the end. Listen to it multiple times when you have free time or while doing household chores. Share and save the playlist for your convenience. I am confident that within a few short months, your mindset will develop significantly. Ancient Wisdom welcomes you. At the age of 30 to 40, there is no doubt this is a crucial turning point in your life. It both inherits what is past and opens up to what is to come. If you do not start to change, it is highly likely that the second half of your life will become more chaotic and difficult. After watching this content, the second half of your life will become lighter, more peaceful, and you can achieve tranquility like a practitioner. Let's begin. First, stop all meaningless mental stress, because all mental exhaustion serves no purpose other than reducing your inherent life energy. It will not bring you any positive results. Life is a process born from facing death. The sooner you live rationally, the sooner you confront reality, and good results will appear sooner. Let go of obsessions, stop negative emotions, and seek a positive thinking model. Calmly reflect and learn. In fact, at the age of 35, most people go through a phase of confusion. The reason is simple. By this age, most of what needs to be experienced has already happened. The current results are due to past perceptions. If the results are not good, you will certainly feel lost. We often contradict our past perceptions, even through unexpected events that disrupt our beliefs. But all of this is very normal. The solution is to read books or listen to those who have achieved results. Listen to them share or just try to understand the ideas you previously rejected, using objective reasoning to analyze and explore thoughts that you did not notice before. Humans are a system, and everything is driven by thought. Remember that if the results are not good, it is because your thinking has issues. The past is the past, the present is the present, and the future is the future. Keep a positive mindset and strong faith. Human actions are driven by ideas. The difference lies in whether the power of ideas is strong enough or not. We should not touch upon wrong things, including wrong feelings or money. We do not take wrong feelings, we do not come into contact with them. If mistakes were made in the past, wait for the bad results to occur and end. If mistakes persist, cut them off immediately. There is a cause for every effect. Bad results are called bad karma, while good results are called good karma. Good and bad cannot occur simultaneously. That is an objective law. You cannot think otherwise, nor can anyone resist this. We need to avoid negative people and environments. Have you noticed that most of what I share repeatedly emphasizes this point? Humans are products of their environment. It is the environment that determines who you are, not you changing the environment. To clarify, the environment determines your perceptions, your wealth, and everything about you. If you want to improve, you must change your environment, change the people you interact with, and the information you receive. This is the foundation for becoming better in terms of making money and doing practical work. We do not want to admit the truth that money can solve many problems. Everything can be compared. There is no absolute right or wrong. Everything is constantly changing, and in this constant change, everything transforms. In other words, anxiety arises from not having enough money in your pocket. Whether you are a man or a woman, take care of yourself and focus on your results and work. You will realize that ordinary people are doing legitimate work, while those who do not work are the ones creating anxiety and using words to justify everything. They never take action, never look directly at problems, and certainly do not solve them. Learn to enjoy solitude, cherish solitude, and simply wish for solitude. Many arguments are straightforward, but we could not understand them before. For example, the normal state of the world is continuous change, but we always assume that change is a mistake. This perception creates contradictions in our behavior, causing us to remain in a state of stress and anxiety. Another foundational piece of knowledge is that solitude is the most normal state. Humans are social animals. Look at the natural world. No animal thinks it is lonely. Solitude is normal. It exists like sunlight, air, and gravity. If you are still struggling with solitude, the second half of your life will certainly end in loneliness and indifference because you will waste time pursuing non-loneliness. Naturally, you will not be able to focus on your work. If your work is not good, there will be no wealth. Without wealth, you certainly will not be able to solve many problems in life, and the quality of your life will not be high. Truly cherish the time. The cost of life is not the money lost, but your time. Your time and thoughts are the most significant and heaviest costs. In reality, a person's life is a competition of intellect, not other abilities. Who can control themselves, who can discipline themselves, who can focus on actions, will generate mental strength and continuous focus. Intelligence will appear. It is an inevitable process. Whoever understands the natural laws faster and sees the essence of humanity sooner has grasped the core and can handle daily tasks at a higher level. Never seek shortcuts. Do not deceive. In this world, only methodologies exist. There are no shortcuts. And absolutely do not deceive anyone. Understand that all deception will cost you dearly and be very difficult to return from. Deception will shatter your perceptions, leading you astray. The greatest cost you must pay is the time needed to turn back, causing you to miss valuable opportunities. Two types of deception can easily lead you to make mistakes: kind-hearted lies and exaggerations, which cause much greater harm, not only to others but also to yourself. Focus on making money, working, and in the end, honesty is the most important thing. Honesty is the golden key, the tool to maximize benefits. Learn to truly be silent. The business of others does not concern you, and your business does not concern others. Just ensure there are no conflicting interests. You do not need to refute anyone or prove yourself. Focus on cause and effect. Finally, grasp the law of cause and effect. All developments occur quietly in stillness. We should never indulge in self-pity but must bow our heads and work continuously, not needing to ask about the future. All enlightenment is the result of long-term thinking. Therefore, you need to think carefully about the causes of past results, analyze, and find the root problems. Remember that all issues stem from oneself. Mistakes and choices lead to inevitable results. To find the cause, it is necessary to think and summarize many times. During this process, if you always think you are right, then there is definitely a problem somewhere. Strong people always think there are points they are wrong about, while weak people always think they are entirely right. Be clear about this. Success is the ability to continuously achieve results. The fundamental reason you attract others is that you can consistently bring one success after another, always transmitting positive energy. That's it. So what you need to do is achieve results and demonstrate outcomes. In this process, if you stumble, that's okay. Just get up and keep fighting, and then you will win again. At this time, all good things will return, as long as you are not afraid of failure and never give up. Turn your small chance of success into a larger opportunity for success, and you will grasp the secret of success. Practice intentionally. Practice multiple times. This is not difficult. Everything requires management, and all is cooperation. It may sound cold, but in reality, all relationships between people are fundamentally relationships of supply and demand. These cooperative relationships require you to invest your mind to manage them. The essence of human nature is selfish and full of ambition. You need to know how to manage this. Only then can you achieve the results you desire, not simply by trusting in human nature. Remember that there are no noble or inferior people. Only useful and useless people exist. The difference lies in the fact that useful people are those you can activate their motivation to work, not suppress their abilities. This is the right approach, and you should also accept that the world is a grand game. Weak people think of themselves as good people, but they will always miss many opportunities. Remember that every time you come across something useful, use it for yourself. Only those who truly have needs will focus on valuable things. You do not need to be a good person to others only to use them for their strengths to benefit yourself. Focus on profit, and people will not betray you. Always keep your needs at the forefront. All other tasks are secondary. This is a serious principle of relationships in business. When working, establish clear boundaries. Be straightforward about your needs, and let them meet yours first. They will bring their strengths to you and support you, but don't expect others to think about you. People have their own needs and want to be fulfilled by you. This is the essence of business and partnerships. In conclusion, if you want to restart your life, take action, focus on your needs, and understand the nature of relationships. By doing so, you will transform your life significantly and bring more positive outcomes into your existence. This is the essence of ancient wisdom. Thank you for joining me in this discussion on restarting life at the ages of 30 to 40. Please subscribe to the Ancient Wisdom channel for more insightful content. Remember to reflect on these ideas, and don't hesitate to revisit this video for deeper understanding. Let's embrace this journey together.